What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more house, or maybe techno. This is a record from 1989, sent to me by Doug. Big shout out to Doug, major friend and champion of the channel. And yeah, it's from 1989. I was curious about the name 101 as an artist name, so I looked it up. Apparently this was a Belgian outfit. I think there was more than one person involved. They released a track that is now seen as a early tune in the new beat. Is it new beat or big beat? I think it's new beat. But ultimately, the track we're going to listen to is called Rock to the Beat, so I feel like this is, one of those tunes that's sort of identifying what it is and what it's part of, it's putting a name on something. So yeah, my understanding is this is from 1989, and this remix vinyl is. I don't know if the original, single is from 89 or maybe 88, but yeah, this one is from 89. And of all the versions on the album, or the release here, I was most keen to hear the European techno mix. Now there's also a European ecstasy mix, which I wonder, if that'll be something along similar lines, though maybe perhaps a bit more melodic. Either way, the European techno mix is what we're going to listen to. The reason I mentioned at the start maybe house is because I feel like some tunes that have the name techno in the late 80s, they are what we would now more commonly call house, sometimes with acid. So again, 89 is, that's like peak acid house. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear a 303. Either way, once again, shout out to Doug. So this is 101 Rock to the Beat, and this is the European techno mix. And this release, which again is a remix of an earlier single, is from 1989. That double. I read something about it's like Jade for You or something like that. Name doesn't ring a bell with me, but it's like electronic communication acid. A bit acid cricket-ish too. So of a lower frequency than when I normally say that. I do like the simple chirping afterwards. They call it acid. Now I wonder, does it have a proper end, or does it fade? Because that's what a lot of tracks did in the 80s. Definitely fade. If this had been made like 3 or 4 years later, I think it would have proceeded to a conclusive end, whatever that might be. And yeah, like, number one, you can absolutely hear it as a pioneering, like, acid house tune. It's very much, I would classify it as acid house. Now, again, I get it. The way that the word techno is used has evolved over time, so, like, now you wouldn't hear too many people call that techno, but in '89, I have no problem believing that that is a word that would have been applied. But it's funny, I was thinking, like, I'm a big fan of Hard Floor, and they're, very dynamic acid house producers that have been doing it for like over 30 years. Like, their first album was '93. And not only do they use a lot of 303s, but they're famous for having like rewired a number of them. They know circuitry and so on. And so they have a bunch of custom 303s that, like, their sound is modified. Like, each, they have these different 303s that are non-standard. So when I listen to acid house, I'm inevitably, like, comparing it to some of the best acid house I've heard, in particular because, like, acid techno, acid trance, thousands of tunes are in my collection and in my head. Acid house, I don't know it as well as a genre, like, comprehensively. So, again, inevitably for me, like, Hard Floor ends up being the standard. Now, again, they're a few years ahead of this in terms of when they start releasing their material. I have no doubt they're listening to tunes like this and they were, perhaps already producing. But the point is, this sounds more basic to my ears, but I get it. That's because I'm retrospectively listening and thinking about tunes that come later in the same genre. So it seems unfair to say, well, it's not quite as good as that. Well, it's like, yeah, but that hadn't happened yet, and maybe that doesn't happen in the same way, if not for tunes like this. And indeed, I'd say the same thing about Future and acid tracks, like the legendary acid track for which maybe the entire genre, earned its name. But yeah, it's okay, it's good, it just, my complaint, or not complaint, but my critique, I suppose, and maybe that applies here too, is that it does the same thing for a very long time, and it doesn't, like modern techno and like house and like trance tunes, they'll have sections where different bits are coming in, then they go back out, then maybe you have an anomalous section that's quite different from the rest of the track, then it goes back into the normal part of the tune. This has a lot of great elements. The aciiiiid, I love that vocal. That's, that became sort of a staple and, was done in different ways in a number of different acid tracks throughout the 90s. But I like the female vocal, although it's funny. What I read about, again, I think it's Jade for You, is that she said something about the recording session being boring, which, okay, I get it. Like, if you're only going to, record a couple lines and maybe they only have you do a couple takes, it's like, whatever, it was a nothing. It was, this is sort of boring. But the reason I sort of laughed near the end of the reaction is because her vocal sounds like she's sort of bored giving it, which, like, I don't think it really harms the track, but the quality of her delivery is sort of like, to the beat, rock to, and it's like she's saying to the rock, to the beat. But she's just saying it like very matter-of-factly, so it made me laugh. But even so, I enjoy the like sonic quality of her voice. I like some of the percussive like parts of the overall like beat. So yeah, it's a cool acid house tune. Definitely one that might find its way into my slower or like acid house sets again. So probably alongside some hard floor, maybe some hollow movement. But yeah, a cool tune. Curious to hear the ecstasy, European ecstasy mix. I'm guessing it would be something similar, but maybe more melodic. That would be my guess based on the remix title. There's also a US mix, which, I don't know, maybe that'll have more guitar. I'm not sure. Again, I know like the perception of the US market, depending on like what genre you're talking about, it might be seen as like, well, they had to modify it because people here listen to music with these types of attributes. So I'll be curious to hear that. We'll go through it. And yeah, once again, shout out to Doug. There is also another track that's not a remix of Rock to the Beat, and that is it Move Your Body, I believe? Yeah, there's a new US mix of Rock to the Beat. Yeah, Move Your Body. So we'll listen to that one too. We'll see what it's all about. Shout out once again to Doug, as well as to Luca, who at this point will be bummed to learn that I have to adjust in a way. Can you make it? Are you gonna? You got it? You got it? Okay. She's good. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.